Hi there, it's Kristen again with ministrytochildren.com. And today's lesson has a few adaptations that you can make to suit your best needs. We're going to be talking about the Ascension of Jesus. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you an example of a dancing raisin experiment that can kind of be a fun way to illustrate the ascension of something. If this is not the most ideal for your situation, you're going to be in a sanctuary, you might want to use something like a helium balloon. If you want to go on the wilder side, or if you're doing this in a classroom setting or for a Sunday school lesson, then you could use even baking soda and vinegar or Alka-Seltzer tablets. So use what works best for you. Also, I'm going to have a special guest appearance in my lesson today, but my guest is not going to be one that's available to you. So you might be able to use a student, a child, if that child is agreeable and if their parents are agreeable to you for the rising up portion of the message. If that's not the best or the safest idea, then you might just want to go with a puppet or a stuffed animal on a string. So you'll get the picture once we get going. But here is one possible way that you might be able to share the story of Jesus' ascension with your students. Good morning. So today we're going to talk about a very special event that took place in the Bible. But before we do, I want to show you something that's kind of a neat little trick. Have you ever seen a raisin dance? Do you think raisins can dance? Well, let's see if we can make a raisin dance. Now, first of all, what is a raisin? Where do raisins come from? Do you know where raisins come from? They come from grapes! That's right. Raisins come from grapes. So grapes get dried out and specially treated, and then they turn into raisins. Well, let's see. First, we're going to pour the special dancing raisin juice into the glass. Make sure this is something that's fizzy, by the way. It's got to be a fizzy liquid, and it's best if it's clear so that people can see what's going on. Okay, so fizzy juice has been added to the glass. It's very refreshing. Now let's see if our grapes will dance. Do you think the grapes are going to dance? Let's try it. Not so much. The grapes don't really want to dance. Well, let's see if the raisins will dance. So there they go. They're sitting on the bottom of the glass right now. Maybe they're a little bit sad because they're not grapes anymore, and now they're all dried up and nothing is really happening to them. Oh, wait a second. Check it out. Now, this will take a few moments, so it might be a good option for you to start talking about the appearances of Jesus after he rose from the dead, or you could reiterate the story of the resurrection. Oh, look, there it goes. Did you see that? Did you see the raisin go floating to the top of it? Check it out. They're lifting off. Look, there's another one. Ooh, it went back down. Look, there they go. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing the dancing raisins? So you thought they were just lifeless little grapes, but they're getting re-energized by the special bubble juice, and they're dancing, and they're lifting up to the top, and they're going back up into the glass. Wow. Whoa, they're going up again, and they're going up, and they're going down. They're going all over the place. Now, depending on how much time you have, you might want to set this aside. So the reason that we were looking at raisins lifting off into that glass is because today we're going to talk about a time when Jesus ascended. Now, have you ever heard of that word ascend? It means that something is going up, like a staircase or an elevator or a hot air balloon, perhaps. It's something that ascends, something that goes up. There was a special time in the Bible when Jesus actually did that. So we've been talking about how after Jesus came back to life from the dead, after the resurrection, he appeared to his disciples several times. And when he did this, it was usually to encourage them and to give them hope and inspiration. And sometimes they didn't recognize him right away, and then they realized who they were talking to and got really, really excited. Well, Jesus did this for 40 days, actually, after the resurrection. He would appear to his disciples, and when he was finally getting ready for his last appearance to them, he took them out of town a little ways. He took his group of disciples and he kind of led them out, and he started talking to them again, and he was reminding them of all the things that had happened. And he reminded them of how they could know for sure that he was who he said he was, that he was the Messiah, the Son of God, and how he had come back to life from the dead, and how he had been crucified, and how he had done all of these things. And after he reminded them of this, he gave them a special promise. He said he was going to go away for a little while, but that he was going to send them a really exciting helper power. He told them to wait for that, and he told them that after that, they would be able to share with other people the story of who he was and what he had done. And as he said this, after that, he gave them a special blessing and blessed them and let them know that now they were going to be able to carry on what he had done. And as he was blessing them, something really incredible happened, because he was blessing them, and then he started kind of lifting off into heaven. And here comes a special guest. And he just sort of rose up into the clouds and rose into heaven. And he just took off, and he just went up, 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 and away into the clouds. And after he went up into the clouds, they couldn't see him anymore. And he had just kind of disappeared, and they stood there staring, wondering what had happened. And an angel actually came by and said, "What are you looking for? Jesus has gone back to heaven. He's gone back to God, but he will come back." Now, Jesus did promise to come back, but the disciples weren't sure how or when that would happen. It is still going to be something that happens and something that we wait for, but we don't know exactly when. They thought maybe it would happen in just a little bit. Well, it took longer than they expected, because it's been thousands of years and Jesus still has not come back in that way. But they were really excited because they realized, hey, he blessed us. He gave us a special commandment, and he told us what we were supposed to do, and we were supposed to tell other people about who he was. And so with that excitement, they knew that now they were going to get to share with others the great things that Jesus had done. And they went back and they went to the church, and they kind of hung out in the church for a little while, sharing with other people what had happened and getting all excited about Jesus. Now, one other thing is that there was something he said. He said that he was going to send them a very special helper, and they were to wait for that power to come. Now, if you want to know more about that power that comes, you'll have to stay tuned, because in our next lesson, we're going to talk about a really, really exciting thing that happened that energized the church and gave it this special power to carry on Jesus' message. But the great thing to know about the Ascension is that he has blessed us. Not just the disciples, but he's blessed us, and he's invited us to share his good news and to be able to tell everyone about Jesus, and that he came, and that he died, and that he rose again, and that our job now is to share that love and share that good news with one another. So stay tuned for the next exciting lesson, but let's say a prayer and we can thank God for the great things that he has done and ask for help to share his good news with one another. Dear God, thank you for your stories. Thank you for the life of Jesus. Thank you for all that he did and for who he was. Thank you for the power to share your word, and help us to share one another, your love with one another, and to always love you. Thank you for your love, God. Thank you for Jesus. In his name, amen. So go make those disciples, and remember, next week it's Pentecost.